Hi, we're here with our cutting bed and it's about 4 weeks old. And at 4 weeks, I start to really check the tubers. So you can see here that many of them have woken up after 4 weeks, but still we've got a couple here. This is Kay's Kelty Cherry. It does have a little push there, so I'm excited it probably will go. Kay's Grandma Sib finally pushed here. And you can see Kay's Jubilee has been pushing for a while, and I've made lots of cuttings off of this already. So this one here, I don't think this one's going to go at all. I don't see eyes on it. So what I do in this situation is I take my finger and I kind of go all the way down to the bottom. And if I feel any kind of softness, I'm going to say this one needs to go because I did feel some softness in there. And if you see here, I've got it soft and rotted. So this one just didn't make it. I thought there was an eye here on it, but for some reason rot started in, and so it's good to check. If that happens, you just have to throw it away. Probably about, in my dahlia garden, I lose probably 20% of my tubers just from rot like that. I thought that one was good. But here's its friend, the same variety, Kay's Boho Peach, and it's doing really well. I've already taken cuttings off of that. So you can see they're all at different stages. Some of the bigger varieties still haven't woken up, so I'm hoping that these will, but they're a month old now. And then many of these other ones are just ready to roll. So this is Kay's Mocha Maya, and I'm going to take this one with a pull. Can you see that, Bri, pretty well? So you just hold down by the base with your fingers, and you just gently roll around like it's a loose tooth. And I'm going to go like this till it pops off. And pretty soon it's going to pop off. And what will happen here where it popped off, you can even see now there's a little pushes here and here. So you'll be getting more sprouts from that area there and there. Sometimes there's up to 4 and sometimes even more. You can look at this one here. This one has about 6 or 7. I took one cutting off there in the middle. You can kind of see the scar left over from it, and then all the little sprouts all around it started to push. So I should get quite a few off of that one. And sometimes that's varietal. Sometimes they give you just a couple. Sometimes they give you quite a bit more. So the next step, once you do the pull, is to remove some of these smaller leaves all around here. And the reason that I do that is because at each leaf axil where the leaf attaches to the stem here, so here and like here, that's where the cutting has the opportunity to make roots, and that's what we're hoping it will do next. So if you just have one leaf axil, then it'll just make one set of roots. But if you have 2 leaf axils like this, it'll make 2 sets of roots, which is really good. So that's a cutting that you make from a pull. And I'm just going to set this aside for a second, and I'm going to show you another way that you can make a cutting as well. And this is with a scalpel. So I only do 1 scalpel per tuber because I just don't want to be spreading any disease or anything. So I mark the name on it here. And so this is Kay's Cal Aggie. And I'm going to go right here to this one here. And I'm going to go down towards the base, maybe 1/8 of an inch from the base. And I'm just going to take my scalpel and push it off that way. So that's another way you can do it. And if you look here, you can see already there's little sprouts that are thinking about going, and I have taken 1 cutting off of there, and you can see the little sprouts are starting to push up. So those will all be opportunities to take sprouts in maybe another week. Again, I'm going to remove these lower leaves on the bottom. So there's 1 set. I'm going to do 2 sets on this, and I know it's kind of little, and I'm holding it here because sometimes if you hold it here and you pull the leaf off, you break it. So I'm being really careful not to break it. So so this is Cal Aggie, and then we took this other one earlier, which is Kay's Mocha Maya. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the next step. So here I have Clonex, which is a type of rooting hormone. Yeah, thank you, Brian. Rooting hormone. So I'm going to dip it into the rooting hormone like that, just a little bit on the bottom like that, and then put it into this hole, which is, these are called root riots. And so a root right looks like this when you buy it, and it has a little hole in the top like that. And I moisten them so they're pretty moist, and then put them into this 50 tray. And then what you do is when it's time to put it in, you find the hole like that, but you want to push it in pretty far, all the way up to the first set of leaves like that. Okay, and then so that was Mocha Maya, so you put the tag in right away before you forget. And then again, I'm going to put some of the goo on there and put it right into the hole and push it in. So that one's a little bit smaller, but put my tag on it right away. And what we're doing is we're kind of waiting. Next, I'm going to do the next step. Next, I do a little bit of spritz on it like this. Just kind of get them nice and hydrated. This tray is about a week old. So from my cutting bed here, I've taken these cuttings over the last week. It's a 50 tray. So I've taken almost 50 cuttings just in a week here. So they all look good. I wanted to show you one that's a little bit more than a week old. And so what you're hoping for is for the roots to start. So that's a good sign, really good sign. It hasn't pushed out any roots on the other sections, but it will. So anyway, and when you put them back in after you check them, just be careful because you can kind of damage the roots sometimes. And so, so what you're what's happening under there, I just wanted to show you this, is right there at that leaf axil that we talked about, the roots will start to form. And they make tiny little roots like this. They're so cute. And so then this will get put into this particular one. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. But in the root riot, the roots crawl through the root riot, and then you put the root riot into a 4-inch pot, or you put them right into the ground. So after that, the more important part is making sure that there's a little bit of moisture in the bottom. I usually have about 1/4 inch of water. I think I need to add just a tiny bit more there, but that's pretty good. And then again, you have to make sure that since they don't have a root system and they can't take up water very well yet, you have to make sure that they stay nice, and there's a humidity dome basically over this to keep the humidity in. So as they grow their roots, they'll get better. They'll be able to grow more roots. Yeah, for that. So I think that's pretty much it. So just make sure you check your tubers if they're not coming up. Make sure they haven't rotted, and have fun making cuttings.